So we're going to be talking about English infixation, and the idea is this is a peculiar aspect of English morphology, and which we're going to be spending a bit of time on. So in this unit, we're going to be spending all of our time on English infixation. It's very similar in semantic purpose to this emphatic fucking that can be placed almost anywhere in a sentence. You get these all sorts of fuckings that can occur anywhere. So you can get my fucking idiotic fucking professor is fucking making me fucking read this fucking lousy fucking book, which is a perfectly fine sentence by most people's standards. Might meet your fucking threshold, but it's an awful lot of fuckings in one sentence. But you can see that each one of those locations for that emphatic fucking is fine. But what's interesting is that we've got this other form of fucking, which isn't a free word, and it climbs inside of words. It's a bound morpheme. If you remember our little unit on morphology, we talked about free morphemes, which are individual words. And so this fucking right here is a free morpheme, but we're going to be looking at a bound morpheme that looks really similar to that fucking. But before that, we're going to just get into a little bit of grammar here. And this is stuff that I expect you're already pretty familiar with, the prefixes and suffixes. So, for example, you can attach these affixes, these prefixes, to the beginning of a word, like fucked up. And you can say these genes come pre-fucked up, right? So that pre attaches onto the verb fucked up. Or you can say, I fixed it and then he re-fucked it up, meaning that he fucked it up again. That re that attaches to the beginning is a prefix there. Or the un, which we talked about earlier when we talked about the morphology, that un can attach as well. So can we unfuck this up, right? Suffixes come on the other end. So suffixes are these bound morphemes that attach to the end of a word instead of the beginning of a word. So he was scared shitless. That less there is a suffix. This bike is shitty. That e is a suffix. Shitting feels good. That ing there is a suffix. All right, now that I expect is review for you. Now, what's interesting is a lot of languages have infixes as well. English doesn't have them as much as some languages do, but we do have them. Most of them tend to be taboo to some degree or another, or are euphemisms for taboo morphemes. So we've got infreaking credible. We've got abso-bloody-lutely. That bloody, for an Australian, the bloody acts very much like the fucking infixation that we're going to be concentrating on that you see in polyfucking-ticians. So that bloody in Australia gets inserted inside of all sorts of words in the same way that fucking in the United States gets inserted in all sorts of words. And then goddamn works the same way, a la goddamn Bama. So that's what we see with English infixation. That's the main form of infixation. And what you see is that these infixes are a little bit like prefixes and suffixes, except that they get inserted inside of a word instead of on the side, right? So prefixes at the beginning, suffixes on the end, infixes on the inside. But the thing is that you can't insert a fucking in just absolutely any word. So some words work pretty well. So you can say, who are you calling or to fucking marry? Sounds okay. But it would sound pretty weird to say, who are you calling regu fucking murder? Right? That doesn't work. You better learn to recognize good shit when you see it. You better learn to distinguish, right? Sounds horrible. So recognize sounds a lot better than distinguish or distinguish. Right? It's hard for me to even say that. Micro fucking soft gives me a headache. That sounds really good, right? And I imagine that a lot of you can relate to that sentence as well. Whereas Lin fucking nux or le fucking nux gives me a headache. No good, right? You've got some mo fucking Joe, good. You've got some ma fucking jick, no good. Ma fucking jick, right? I'm sorry, that last one should be Madge fucking Nick, not good. Fan fucking tastic, that sounds great, right? Fabu fucking less, fab fucking ulus, fa fucking bulus, right? All of those sound pretty bad. I guess of those three, probably the best one is Fabufuckingless. But at least for me, I don't like it, right? Fan-fucking-tastic, good. Fabufuckingless, blah. And I can confirm this, right? So that's based on my own intuitions, right? Based on being a native speaker of English, I have intuitions about what sounds right and what doesn't sound right. And again, the point here is this is not something that you were taught in school or anything like that. This is not based on prescriptive grammar. Purely descriptively, some of these words sound better than others to native speakers. So just to kind of demonstrate this, I decided to do a Google search. And I did a Google search on fantastic and fabulous. Not surprisingly, fantastic is a much more common word than fabulous is. So a couple days ago, I did a search on fantastic and got 866 million hits. Then I did a search on fabulous and got 301 million hits. All right, so fantastic is used a lot more than fabulous. Okay, fine. And we see a ratio of 2.9 to 1. So fantastic is used 2.9 times for every time the fabulous is used on the internet. Good. Now, the next thing is to do a search on fan-fucking-tastic, which, as I've said, sounds really good, right? So fan-fucking-tastic, 86,100 hits. Okay, significantly smaller than the number of times that fantastic is used, but, you know, that's a pretty good hit, 86,100. Whereas if you do fabufuckingless, you only get 489 hits, which is far fewer, right? So the point here is that when we look at that ratio, you get a ratio of 176 to 1. The fan-fucking-tastic shows up on the internet 176 times for every time the fabufuckingless shows up, which suggests then that fan-fucking-tastic is just more grammatical than fabufuckingless. Right? So that's the point of this little exercise, is just to demonstrate that it's not purely my intuitions, that people in practice prefer fan-fucking-tastic to fabufuckingless. All right, so what I'm going to give you as a task, and this is the next assignment, is to go through, and this is just a survey, you get a point for completing it, is for each one of the 50 states of the Union, I want you, first of all, to decide if fucking can be inserted inside of it or not, and if so, where. And so we can start with Alabama, and I think it's always best to actually say the words. So Alabama, Ala-fucking-Bama. How does that sound? Sounds really good to me, right? That sounds like one of the best ones I can imagine. Ala-fucking-Bama. It's just that it rolls off the tongue, right? And so what you would say is, that one sounds good. And you can then insert the fucking right here. Sorry about that hyperlink, but yeah, you insert it right there between the Ala and the Bama. Sounds awfully good. So then you'll do the same thing for Alaska. Oh, come back. Okay. So you would do the same thing for Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, and so on and so on. For each one, you will decide, first of all, whether fucking inserts inside of it well. So if it sounds good with it inside of it, you will say good. If it sounds just okay, then you'll put okay. If it sounds pretty bad, you'll put bad. And if it just sounds terrible, then you'll put terrible. All right, so I hope that makes sense. And then you'll also be asked to indicate where you would put it. So I'll ask you to write out the word. So if it were, again, Alabama, you would write out Ala-fucking-Bama in the next part of the question. So there will be a total of 100 questions on this survey, 2 questions for each word. First of all, does it sound good, okay, bad, or terrible? And then second of all, you will write out where it will go. And if, in fact, it can't go anywhere at all, then you'll just write N/A for not applicable.